Cochinita pibil. Cochinita means suckling pig, baby pig. Pibil means cooked or roasted underground or buried. So obviously the way that this dish has been traditionally made in the Yucatan of Mexico is by burying a full baby pig underground, covering it up with some fire underneath, and just letting that cook all day until it's just succulent and beautiful. It's marinated in this achiote acidic marinade, and achiote is just the annatto seeds blended up together to create this sort of puree, and that's what gives this dish its signature color. It's this red, rich color. The annatto seeds used to actually be used as a coloring agent, like a paint almost, but it's really delicious. The paste gets diluted with sour orange, or as they call it in Mexico, naranja agria, something like that. Sour orange. It's a variation of an orange that we don't get here, but we can recreate it by just taking some regular oranges or some grapefruits or something like that, mixing it with some lime juice, and we got what we need. So this is what we've been building up to. This was a big hit at the 368 taco party. This was my favorite taco of the night there. So we're gonna make it today. We've sort of done all the build up in the past few episodes. We've got tortillas, we've got salsa verde, we have pickled red onions. All we just have to do is get this meat done, and we have really great tacos. First thing I wanna do is get my meat salted. Now, for the event, I salted my pork and marinated it overnight. That created such a juicier end result. I don't have time to do that now, but when you make this, think ahead, make it a big deal, let that salt penetrate into the meat, get all the way in there and really flavor it, and then let that marinade sort of seep in. What I'm going to do today is I'm gonna season this up, I'm gonna get the marinade on, let that sit for a little bit, and then just throw it in the oven. I'll write a recipe, it's gonna be linked down below, so follow that recipe to get the best possible version of cochinita pibil at home. So let's just get right into it. I just want to take this skin off of the pork because that's not really going to do anything for me. Now you can just render this pork fat down and you can get some good pork fat. That's how you can get lard to make your tortillas if you want. So right here I've got about a 4.5 pound bone-in pork butt. It's just cut into a slab instead of the whole butt because that's just a lot of meat and this is plenty, and it's just a way to kind of break it down into a smaller form at home. So I'm just gonna get this salted. It's a big piece of meat, so it can take a good amount of seasoning. So now I'm just gonna let this sit while I prepare the marinade, and then I'm gonna get this sitting in the marinade, get it in the oven, and it's almost as easy as that. Now for the marinade, we've got our oranges, we've got our limes. I think I'm gonna measure the lime juice because I need about like a cup and a half of the sour orange mixture, but I want it to sort of be a little bit more lime than it is orange. So we've got our sour orange mix. Now we have our achiote paste. You can get this on Amazon. This is where I picked it up. It's basically just the seed of this annatto that is ground up real fine, and it's made into this sort of paste-like brick. You can also just get annatto seeds and blend those up to sort of like a powder and add the orange juice mixture to it and kind of create this same sort of thing without this. This is just convenient because it already comes done. It's got seasoning in it. It's just easy. This stuff does stain though, so you want to be careful. You don't want to wear anything that you love when you make this, and maybe just use some gloves. So just break it up a little bit, throw it into the blender. It smells ridiculous. I just have some toasted cumin seeds. I toasted them real quick, and then I'm just gonna throw those in as well. I don't have whole coriander because I can never find it. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of ground coriander, just to sort of reinforce the spice a little bit. I'm not gonna add salt though, because we already salted it. Just gonna take a few cloves of garlic, smash them and peel them real quick, and then throw them into the mixture. Then I'm just gonna add like a tablespoon of white vinegar. Then the mixture. And we blend. So So now we have our marinade done. Easy. Now I want to get this pork in that marinade. So let's do that. Now, like I said, your best move is to let this marinate overnight. That marinade's just gonna penetrate that meat, and if you could smell what I'm smelling, it's just intense. And so you're gonna be so happy with this if you salt it and marinate it overnight. But like I said, for the sake of transparency, that's not what I'm doing, but I want you to do it that way. Now, cochinita pibil is usually cooked underground. I'm not going to do that. And I debated whether or not to do this outside on the grill, because you could throw this on a Weber kettle, get some wood on there, get a lot of that smoke, cook this low and slow in way more of a traditional way than you could inside. But I think I'm gonna do a separate video for that on Adrenaline Barbecue's channel, because I'll be using their products. So I'm gonna show how to do this in a regular kitchen, in an oven. And the thing that's just gonna make it that much better, especially when you're doing it inside, banana leaves. This is the thing that was traditionally used to cook cochinita pibil in Mexico. And what they do is it allows it to sort of steam, but it does also add a flavor. You can do it without it for sure. I did it without it at the event. It was no problem. So don't freak out, but like, this is a fun way to do it. It's fun to serve it in this. And you know, it's just interesting to do things the proper way that it was done for like hundreds of thousands of years. So this is what I'm gonna do. You can get this on Amazon, no problem. Just like a pound of banana leaves. And they just come with one side that's pretty tough. That's where it's connected to the big leaf. So we're just gonna kind of line our baking dish with this and then fold the pork into it. Get this in the oven and just let it cook till it's fall apart tender, essentially. So let's get our roasting pan. You got me running, got me running. Got me running, got me running, got me running, got me running. You could heat these up on a flame, make them more pliable, but you know, who's got time for that? So now that I have a nice little bed with some good layers on there, I want to grab my pork and stick it in there. And then go on top with all that marinade. Now I just want to seal this bad boy up as tight as I can. Now just a cup or two of water right over the top just to help that steam kind of get going. Now I'm just going to cover this in foil, get it in the oven, let this cook for about 4 or 5 hours. Now this just goes into the oven. We're all set. Ideally, you've marinated it for about a day. It's been salting, it's flavored, marinade is on point. Now we're just going into the oven, 325 degrees, 4 to 5 hours, or until it just falls apart without any sort of effort. And like I said, a really smart move on your part would be to do this outside on a smoker or a kettle if you have. For now, we're just gonna throw it into the oven. Right off the bat, the smell of this banana leaf reminds me of like an apple wood smoke. Immediately, I can tell that this is playing an actual part in flavoring this whole thing. It's not just like a gimmick. It's not just for a look. This really is doing something that is pretty amazing. The combination of the achiote and this smell is incredible. So if you're making this at home and you don't have a grill outside, I really, really recommend seeking out this banana leaf. If you could smell what I'm smelling, it's just amazing. So let's just see what we have going on. Now, as much as I want to keep this beautiful aesthetic going, I want to take all this banana leaf out. Now all I want to do is just kind of get rid of any unnecessary fat, start to shred it, but try and get all that like sinew and all that kind of gunk out of there before you kind of get too far shredding it. Wow, okay, this is great. I'm going to heat up my tortillas and get ready to eat some tacos. It's not Oh boy. That meat and all of those toppings and everything has so much flavor. It truly is a taste of Mexico. There's bright flavors, citrusy, you have the pickled onions, you have the spice and the flavor from the salsa verde. A good flour tortilla. Corn tortilla would be great, but flour tortilla is easy to make ourselves. And we made everything here, start to finish, from scratch. You can't beat that. When you put in that kind of work, you pay off in the end product. It's indescribably delicious. I got some corn tortillas from the store. I even got like a really good brand just to see if it makes a difference, how much better it is to make a tortilla at home. I know the flour tortillas taste kind of like rubbery at the store. I want to see like a artisanal brand corn tortilla, how it holds up to the flour. So here's my corn. I got it from the store. It says super fancy corn tortilla, homemade, blah, blah, blah. I also put some cotija cheese just to see if it matters. I don't think it does because there's so much flavor and that cheese probably can't even taste it. It's pretty good. I prefer the homemade flour though. Super duper flavor, like mega, mega flavor. I don't know what to say. That just became my favorite recipe ever. It's so delicious, I can't even. It was just fun to make. Tortillas, everything. You don't really ever see this at a taco shop. You don't ever really make it at home, but there's something about knowing that you're doing it in such a way that would make your abuela proud. And I know it takes work. Are you gonna make all this stuff homemade all the time? No. But this is something you can impress a crowd with. Doesn't take a lot of effort, takes a little bit of time, but I promise you, you feed this to anybody and you become a star. And I needed that today. I needed this to just be everything I dreamed it would. And for everybody who has a problem with me not using plates, now I use banana leaf. To change my hat halfway through the thing. You guys didn't tell me my hair looked crazy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Definitely up there now as one of my favorite recipes on my channel. Thanks to all my patrons for supporting me. You guys keep coming along and it's a big, big help. So thank you so much. So much love to all you guys. I hope everyone's doing well. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.